This story time is very different from the normal videos I put on here, but I think it's worth chatting about. So I'd say there's a lot of you watching in Ireland at the moment who've heard the ads going out for sepsis. So this is a story time about my own run-in with sepsis, and I don't know, hopefully it's of some use to people. I don't know. So it all starts off a few years ago where I got a sore throat. That was it. Very simple, sore throat, and after a couple of days it was getting worse and worse. After a few days of it not going away, I went to the doctor and found out it was actually glandular fever. Glandular fever itself, it's fairly common. There's no actual cure for it, so you kind of just have to ride it out and take whatever the doctor prescribes for it. So after about 3 more days, and just to warn you, this is where this story starts to get a little bit disgusting. After about 3 more days, I was so run down. I was in so much pain. I was taking anti-inflammatory stuff. It was doing nothing for me. I was in a bad way. At this point, I took a look at the back of my throat. Again, this is where it's a bit disgusting. It was like covered in white and yellow patches, and it was just so raw and so painful, and it was awful. Now look, I probably shouldn't have let it get to the point that it did, and I should have gone back to the doctor sooner. But anyway, I was in so much pain, I went back to the doctor, who sent me immediately to A&E because it was in such a bad way. So I went to A&E and I was seen straight away, and I always remember the doctor like audibly gasped when he saw the back of my throat, because it was in a bad way. So they took some bloods, they put me on some pain medication, and they gave me a load of antibiotics, and I just waited for the bloods to come back. A couple of hours later, the doctor came back and sat me down and was like, "You're really lucky you came into hospital when you did. Why? You're in the early stages of sepsis." He basically told me that had I not come into hospital when I did, 12 hours, 18 hours later, I would have been arriving into hospital in the back of an ambulance. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is, the whole time I was going through this, the whole time leading up to going into hospital, sepsis never crossed my mind. I just had glandular fever and a sore throat, and I kind of was doing the typical Irish thing of, I don't want to be bothering the doctor. It'll be fine, I'll be grand, I'll get over it in a few days. Little did I know that by not wanting to bother people, in the background, what was just a normal infection was actually turning into a very dangerous situation. Because with sepsis, you can get very sick very, very quickly. If you don't treat it quickly, you can go into organ failure, and ultimately it can be fatal. Now look, I'm obviously no medical expert, but I think even if this story just serves as a reminder to look up the symptoms of sepsis, or things to look out for, or to just have it in the back of your mind, I think that's worthwhile. Just remember with me, this started out as a sore throat. Like, it really was a non-event. They say sepsis can affect anyone of any age, and it can hide behind any infection. So the lesson here is, don't be like me. Don't be like a typical Irish person and say, "Oh, I don't want to be bothering, I'll be fine." If you feel like something's up, go get it checked. They're not going to be annoyed at you. Time is of the essence. Look up the symptoms, make yourself familiar with it, because it could end up being very, very important down the line. All right, that's my story time.